Welcome to the McIlvaine presentation this afternoon on IIoT Business Program. Your host today is Bob McIlvaine, and I founded the McIlvaine Company a number of decades ago based on knowledge systems. And in today's vernacular, knowledge systems are wisdom and subject matter experts. So there's been a lot of progress over the ensuing decades, but the rate of change now is probably higher than it's ever been. And so for suppliers of combust, flow, and treat equipment, and those that are selling the guide, control, and measure products, the rate of change in the future is likely to be unparalleled. So this sea change that IIoT is creating will increase the opportunities, but also the threats to suppliers of combust, flow, and treat products. The opportunities include larger markets and higher margins. The threats include the insertion of third parties between the supplier and his traditional customers. Process system management suppliers will necessarily be sharing the profits with the CFT suppliers based pretty much on the application and product knowledge each has. So those with more knowledge will get a bigger portion of the pie. Suppliers who leverage the industrial internet of wisdom to empower IIoT will be the beneficiaries. Leveraging will require new approaches. In the next decade, those CFT suppliers with strong IIoT programs are likely to generate 5 times the profits as those with the weak programs. So it's not only increased sales, but it's increased margins based on better quality products. The strong program is much more than just an alignment with guide, control, and measure suppliers. IIoT empowered by IIoW will require a completely new approach to marketing, engineering, and R&D. There are 5 steps to a strong program. These steps take into account the new approaches which are being initiated by customers, competitors, and potential collaborators. They are described in the following slides. So here's the 5-step program, which is advanced forecasting, product evolution, prospect identification, sales initiation, and sales persuasion. So step 1, which is advanced forecasting, is a very detailed analysis that McIlvaine is able to create based on the available information that has been accumulated over the decades on all these different industries and all these different processes. And the fact that we're also tracking all the projects for combust, flow, and treat means that all this can be utilized to come up with the forecast that can be a basis of the business plan. Product evolution is increasingly knowledgeable corporate personnel will buy from suppliers who can demonstrate the lowest total cost of ownership for not only the basic products, but for support products and services. Step 4 is sales initiation. Selling to knowledgeable corporate long-term decision makers requires a whole new approach to sales with greater use of digital media. And lastly is step 5, sales persuasion. Application experts will influence sales based on high-level communications. A number of approaches need to be addressed. So what we have here are the old approaches, which is the way business has been done, and then the new approaches that are going to be evolved because of IIoT. So we've just talked about the market research, which is instead of top-down periodic general guesstimates, is bottom-up forecasts with detailed, continuously updated analysis that can be the foundation of a business program rather than just advisory. Most important is with all the data analytics, it will be easy for customers to come up with total cost of ownership analyses, and therefore they will be used in the decision-making process. This is also going to mean the rapid acceptance of new and better products. The price of products will be based more on total cost of ownership because those analyses will be made. The component supplier has a potential role for continuing involvement based on cloud-based information, which he will be receiving. Step 3 is the prospect identification. Instead of the specifier being the individual plants, in the future, the corporate staff with the TCO data will be making many of the decisions. Step 4 is sales initiation, and instead of uncoordinated sales leads, identifying and pursuing the large prospects will result in sales to multiple plants, but also the decisions that are made by those larger facilities with more than half the combust, flow, and treat purchases will influence the smaller purchasers as well. And then step 5 is the sales persuasion, that suppliers are going to be supplementing sales experts with application experts. Remember that the customer, now armed with all this data analytics and total cost of ownership, is going to be expecting equal levels of knowledge from the people that he deals with at the suppliers. The decision process, instead of not being systematic, in the future will be more sophisticated, and essentially, just as IIoT provides a decision system on things, IIoW provides a decision system on all the knowledge. Subject matter experts are going to be utilized to a greater degree, but with the decision systems, the importance will even increase because these subject matter experts will now become subject matter ultra experts. Remote monitoring, instead of being unusual, is going to be prevalent, and that opens up all sorts of doors for the suppliers of components and the IIoT products. Step 1 is the advanced market research. Most combust, flow, and treat products will be purchased by fewer than 1,000 corporations through centralized decision-making processes. End-use geographical locations will be more important for service rather than sales. So the sales forecasts have to represent both. The new approach requires market forecasts which are detailed and accurate enough to become the foundation of sales programs, not just advisory. With the proliferation of raw information, and in the case of McIlvaine, organized gathering of information, it is now possible to create millions of forecasts with continuous updates for the products offered by a company. These forecasts need to be based on thorough understanding of the processes, products, and market dynamics. McIlvaine is unique in that it can leverage over 40 years following these industries to deliver high-quality market research. The starting point for CFT suppliers is the IIoT and remote O&M report, followed by the market report or custom research in each product area which is relevant to the company. So the IIoT and remote O&M report forecasts the IIoT related purchases in each industry in each country. So it represents just close to 100,000 actual forecasts that we're keeping current. Specific guide, control, and measure forecasts are not only valuable to the suppliers of those products, but to the component suppliers who will utilize them to expand their revenues. So the component suppliers, in many cases, could be the purchasers of some of this equipment. Each application is evaluated and IIoT trends in each chronicled. The program to leverage IIoW to empower IIoT and boost supplier revenues is provided. Contacts at the component and IoT suppliers are provided in several directories that are linked from the website, and they will help promote collaboration. Monthly webinars and a comprehensive intelligence system allow the user to stay abreast of the rapidly developing IIoT successes. Here's a link to the details on this particular report. For component suppliers, there is also the market reports, which give very detailed, continuously updated forecasts, and we've been doing this for 4 decades. These reports provide detailed product forecasts for each industry in each country and are accessible to multiple people in an online format. A recent addition is the forecasting of purchases for each of these 550 largest prospects. The forecasts leverage the extensive product, process, project, and regulatory information also being compiled and has been compiled for many decades. Custom research is available to supplement the reports. A typical report has 80,000 forecasts, but custom requests can bring the total to more than 2 million. There are 15 standard reports on air-related subjects. There are 14 reports on water-related subjects. There are 8 reports on energy-related subjects, and more details are found in the link shown below here. Step 2 is the product evolution, and I'm going to move this slide up a little bit so we see that. And the old approach was expensive and inadequate total cost of ownership, but the new approach provides those. Remote monitoring is going to be prevalent. That's also going to change the products because you're going to be able to supply services as part of the remote remonitoring. In other words, with a cloud-based system, the component supplier will be in an advisory role in many cases. Data analytics will be prevalent, and basically the supplier of components can also supply the edge computer type software that is relevant to his particular component. Third-party operation will be major, and the component suppliers can either do this directly or with third-party operators. This also opens the door for cloud-based continuous involvement and fixed price contracts for the components, and to include all repair parts for a year. So that is the way that products are going to evolve and how the suppliers can take advantage of it. Remote monitoring, data analytics, third-party operation, and a new role for the component suppliers are all part of this product evolution. Prospect identification. With centralized decision-making based on previously generated TCOs, the purchaser will be making long-range and broad decisions rather than making them on project to project. Sales initiation will be based on identifying the opportunities at each major prospect far in advance of the final decision. If you're selling a high-performance product rather than general performance, the key aspects of that sale are going to be made many months or even years prior to when the specification actually comes out. Most CFT products will be purchased by existing corporations, therefore the customers are already identified. Corporations all have multi-year plans, which are then supplemented by specific project planning. The CFT supplier can engage the client early in the decision-making process and ensure that the final specifications are favorable to his product. With the IIoT and remote O&M, it is likely that annual contracts involving existing plants and new projects can be negotiated and are being negotiated, as witness people like BASF. The role of distributors and the use of random sales leads will be less important in the new IIoT environment. McIlvaine services addressing this need are described at the following link on the McIlvaine databases. And we've separated that into 5. There are a number of different services, but we've also packaged them so you can buy a package just with the databases in power on coal-fired plants, gas turbines, IC engines, wind, solar, and all these things as part of one package. Another package includes the ultra-clean type environments, and so activities in the pharmaceutical industry, electronics, and food are included in those databases. And in each case, for instance, it would have details on pharmaceutical, would have Pfizer and all the other pharmaceutical companies, as well as forecasts for the products that are used there. The oil, gas, and refining is in one group, again, with details on the 100 largest companies that are operating each of the types of the refineries, the shale, oil, gas processing, etc. And then a final, another group includes mining, chemical, pulp and paper, steel, cement, metalworking, and miscellaneous industries. And then the final group includes just municipal wastewater and municipal water. In addition to that, custom services are available in other industries such as dredging, aquaculture, ballast water, and McIlvaine's heavily involved in HVAC and a number of different industries as well. Step 4 is sales initiation. So the knowledgeable purchaser armed with TCO analysis of existing components will be more influenced by the application experts rather than the sales experts. So companies can designate individuals to become the expert on each product, application, and combination. So again, with the digital activities, a knowledgeable person in a corporation in one location can be dealing with people needing his expertise all over the world. It is important that there be intercommunication within the company to include relevant products, position, and geographic entities. So if you're dealing with, let's say, BASF again, that's got plants all over the world, and a lot of those decisions are centralized, all the people within the organization have to coordinate with Ludwigshafen, who is actually making the decisions. So intercommunication within the supplier company personnel becomes more important with this new environment. McIlvaine can set up websites for all the individuals to access project and application information, and then coordinate with each other on a bottoms-up plan. In other words, if everyone within the corporation has access to project and company information, those that are seeking support from others within the organization can voluntarily do so. Alerts are easily accessed and by organized application information can be provided. Numerous studies have shown that third-party provision of services which allow bottoms-up collaboration can be very effective. Sales presentations typically represent far more investment and use than do brochures. Salespeople can record their presentations and post them to YouTube. McIlvaine is conducting a number of these types of interviews or presentations and would welcome the opportunity to work with you. Presentations can also be posted to the website in a way which provides easy access. They can also be posted in the McIlvaine Global Decisions Orchard and in the relevant services which McIlvaine publishes. McIlvaine can host these webinars and do the recording. And McIlvaine personnel who are knowledgeable in these areas can ask the questions and provide comments to add value to the presentations. Articles for trade publications can also be prepared. Periodic webinars using the custom website as a foundation can provide sales, intercommunication, and training. Step 5 is the sales persuasion. And again, the application experts rather than the sales experts are going to be of increasing importance. Collaboration with other suppliers will be important to success. The reliance on decision systems that show your product having the lowest total cost of ownership are going to be very valuable. Also, the suppliers need to cultivate subject matter ultra experts. They can be employed by component suppliers, large consulting firms, or independent consultants. Retired supplier personnel are also good candidates. The McIlvaine website has all the information on the details of the programs in these 5 areas. And this particular last slide just gives a link to the locations on the McIlvaine website where the 5 aspects of the program are provided. We would welcome the opportunity to talk to you more about a custom tailored program, and you can contact me as you can see at my email address shown here or at 847-784-0012 extension 112 or at my cell phone number. And thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation today. This is Bob McIlvaine signing off.